How's that? Better? What's up, everybody? Wednesday, March 19th. We're live at 9 o'clock. John Marks, Delco Steve is somewhere in the building. Oh, wow. There it is. What's up, Delco Steve?
What up?
So is the microphone working?
Yes. Right. Yes, it's working today.
No, but it wasn't plugged all the way in, so you were hearing me from the speaker, like from the... Yeah, all right, we're good.
Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear.
Loud and clear. All right, loud and clear. What's up, everybody? On a Wednesday, I guess we didn't even really talk about like Brandon Graham retiring and stuff like that, right? Like, I think we knew he was retiring, right?
We assumed.
Yeah, but we just didn't we kind of lost track of it. And then kind of like, it was like, hey, here's a picture of Brandon Graham with cleats over Rocky. And it's like, oh, he's retiring. And he did. And it was short and sweet. He answered questions, which was nice. He gave a nice little, some words. He spoke about some stuff, talking about his family, got emotional, talking about his parents and stuff like that. I mean, it was exactly what I thought what his goodbye would be, right? Jason Kelsey didn't take questions, if you remember, but he had like this long, like chapter 5, chapter 6, and it was really, really good. And then Brandon's was really, really good because then he took 100 questions and he answered them like Brandon answers them, which is awesome and which is very sincere. So, I was emotional watching it. I was shedding a tear when he was talking about his family and stuff like that, but I cry every day, so it doesn't matter. And
he's pretty, not that you guys are like best friends or anything, but you have a very good relationship with him.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's like, you know him. It's like, you know him personally. So you know all these people that he's referring to.
Yeah. Met his mom, met his parents. Watched him. I remember when he had his daughter, when he had my Gianna and his daughter are like around the same age. And then his little guy is like younger than Lena. So older than my youngest, but younger than my middle girl. Yeah. Like it all goes full circle. He is just just like a genuinely good dude, right? Like when we watch sports and we talk about sports and everything else, it's like, but like, he's just like exactly what you think he would be. He's just a genuinely good dude. He is.
I mean, just some of the events that I've worked in, there's a lot of athletes that you come across. He's easily the nicest. And not to say that there aren't a lot of nice ones. Like AJ Feely was really cool. Like Lane Johnson's really nice.
Yeah.
But like Brandon Graham is just like, he's charismatic. He's funny. He's got the charm. Like, he's like the all around like awesome dude.
Yeah. I said this on PHLY yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't even remember what day it is. Is today Wednesday still? So it was today.
Today's Wednesday.
Bro, it's been such a long day.
I'm with you. I feel you.
But Butch from, you know who Butch from Manayunk is?
No.
He doesn't call in WIP anymore, but he was like an original Angelo caller. And Butch is a nice enough guy. But so he does parody songs to the Flintstones.
Okay.
So everything is Eagles win the Super Bowl and I'll be really, really happy. Like really basic, dumb, like so bad they're almost good. I was
Flintstones theme song in 2 decades.
I was not an Angelo listener, and like I became friends with a lot of his whack pack from working at WIP, like Kenny from the Dirty 30s, an awesome guy. And like there's some really good guys from that Angelo pool. But Butch used to, when I would do Miller Lite appearances in Manayunk, Butch would show up and no self-awareness, just like reeking like pot. And he's an older guy too, reeking like pot won't leave you alone. Not that like he's constantly talking. He's just like there, smelling like pot. So anyway, he
Get a
would come.
contact high.
Yeah, dude, like just like come say hi, spend 5 minutes or whatever, and then go drink a beer or something. Leave me alone. But anyway, and Butch's a nice guy, but he used to show up and he would stand in front of Brandon and he would sing this stupid Flintstone song to him. And Brandon, I'm so uncomfortable because Brandon has to sit there and look at him and smile. And then Butch has like this fake money that he gives out. So he's like giving him these fake $100 bills. I don't know why. I don't know what the thing is with that. But like he was just so nice to him. And I would yell at him and be like, Butch, you just took 3 minutes up. There's 1,000 people here waiting to see him. There's a 7-year-old over there that wants his autograph, and you're giving him fake $100 bills and singing a Flintstone song to him. Like, get the F out of here. You know what I mean? But like, that's the kind of guy that he was. He had time for everybody. The amount of emails that I used to get after they won the Super Bowl from people that I knew, people that I didn't know, people that would just show up and beg me. They'd be talking to me stage right. Be like, John, can you get me up to, I need a picture with Brandon. I need this, I need that. So like guys from high school that I hadn't talked to since high school, I'm getting the Philadelphia Inquirer signed the day after they won the Super Bowl by Brandon because it's framed like in their basement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this guy went from being, I hate you, they should have drafted Earl Thomas, what a bust, to maybe being the most popular Eagle ever.
Yeah. Easily top 5.
Right?
Easily top 5. But no, I'm right there with you. I was easily at the top of the list of guys being like, wow, we could have had Earl Thomas when we needed a safety after Brian Dawkins. And yeah, like, because especially as someone who grew up, like, I don't remember, like, when Brian Dawkins went to Denver, I don't remember a game that Brian Dawkins didn't play in. So it's like, oh yeah, like I want that guy. I want Earl Thomas. And then Brandon Graham, he took 6 years to kind of even make a decent impact. Like I'm not even trying to be like trying to be mean about it, but like it's just, but like to see where his career went as 2 Super Bowls, is it him and Lane and Elliott are the only, and the long side
Lovato, who's gone, who's going to be gone, by the way.
Right. So they're the only 4 that were on both teams that we came up with when we talked about it before. It's like, so to be one of those guys, to be the most played, had the most games played, like easily have his number retired kind of player for me now.
And you know, it's like when you say to him, whether it's on the air or off the air, when you say like, do you have any idea? Like, dude, like you sacked Tom Brady, which pretty much sealed the Super Bowl. You made the biggest play in franchise history. Like, do you know that? And you like, he's like, wow. Like he's like, he does, but like you don't know what to make of it. Like it's so big, it's too big, and he knows it. He knows it. He knows how important it is in the city. He knows how important this friggin' football team is in the city. He saw both sides of it. To go from the guy that he was blocking everybody on Twitter, and everybody hated him and everything else, and he was a bust, to face that, to stand there and face it and say, you know what? I did block people on Twitter. I got tired of seeing the Earl Thomas stuff. I hated the negativity. I'm a positive person. To stand there and really face reality, which was like, all right, like here I am. And to go from there to retiring now as an Eagle, I don't know how they don't retire his number. I'll just be, Jason Kelsey and Peters and everybody else, like, should they retire him? Lane, sure, but they need to retire Brandon Graham's number because he means so much to this franchise. But like, if you gave us 1,000 athletes, how many of those guys do what Brandon Graham did? Survived Philadelphia, survived negative, you're a draft bust, we hate you, Philadelphia, and had the career that he did here with 2 Super Bowls. It's almost it's like a movie. It's like a Disney movie. And
to go out with your last game being a Super Bowl win. I think the LA Super Bowl, the second one was probably around the first or second Super Bowl like I remember watching. So seeing him go out with a win, seeing Ray Lewis go out with a win, not that like he's not as nice of a person as Brandon Graham,
Right.
but Peyton Manning. But like I think those things are so cool, like where you have these awesome careers and you can, even though all those guys won multiple Super Bowls, but to be able to go out on your last game with a win
Like that
matters, and especially like the first one where he's like, all right, he's got the iconic play, and then you just blitzkrieg like the best team that's probably been around since those Patriots teams. It's just he's got two awesome trophies to put up on the mantle.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. There have been some Chip Kelly stories as well. Vince brings up the one. Chip was going to trade BG for Deion Jordan. Laurie said no. There was also another one. Which long was it that went to Oregon? It was one of the Chip guys, and it was when Brandon wasn't the Brandon that we remember right now. BG said he was going to get traded or cut. And there was an injury, and then BG had a big season, and it totally changed his career around from there. But he almost signed with the Giants after that. After the one time he was a free agent, he was ready to go to the Giants. I think the Eagles offered him more, or like gave him a better offer. But 15 years in a city like Philadelphia, in pro football. I mean, not many players play for 15 years. Regardless, right? Like backup tight ends, Howard Cross from the Giants, guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you have your quarterbacks that last a long time, but there's not a lot of guys that play his position that play 15 years at the level that he did.
And
maybe it's because he had the slow start to his career. He was able to, he wasn't taking as many hits in the beginning.
I just think it's like he has that motor that just never quits. And he's just got, like you said, he had charisma, and he does. It's infectious too. Like, when you're in the fourth quarter and Fletch and BG and those guys in the huddle, and BG's running his mouth. Just need one more play. Just need one more play. You know what I mean? Like just running his mouth. I mean, guys feed off of that kind of stuff.
Dude, him mic'd up was always a treat.
Always.
And it's always funny because he used to just be going. After the guy that'd be like, "Hey, that was a great play." Like he would always throw compliments.
Running commentary.
Yeah,
all the way. Yeah. He is. He's fun loving. He loves life. He's a huge sports fan. I used to enjoy during the commercial breaks talking about the NFL when you go to commercial and he's signing autographs and you look up at the big TV and Chickies and Pete's. So I'll just be like, did you see this? So he's paying attention to the NFL as much as any of us are that are big NFL fans. Fletcher Cox, meanwhile, didn't watch any football. Didn't really like football. He just played football. He made a lot of money doing it, but he's not paying attention to any of this stuff. Like Brandon I don't know if he's watching hockey, but even baseball, he knew everything that was going on with the Phillies. He knew the ins and outs of all that stuff. It was an unbelievable career, and it's pretty special that we got to watch it from start to finish. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the first time I met him, I felt like he was my best friend. It was, I couldn't be happier for the guy. I'm glad I was wrong about him. I'm glad the whole city was wrong about him. I'm glad he had the career that he did, and I am thankful for his contributions to our favorite team.
Yes, thank you for your service, Brandon Graham. We appreciate it. So 15 years in Philly. So the only athletes with more seasons ever played for a Philadelphia franchise, Mike Schmidt had 18, which is crazy, 18 years. Granny Hamner. Who? Now I know Delco Steve, he holds a special place in your heart. He played in the 40s and 50s for the Phillies.
Okay.
Good old Granny Hamner. 16 seasons. And then you have 9 players that played 15 seasons with their team. Can you name 2 Flyers on the list, Delco Steve?
2 Flyers.
One played recently, or I think he might be gone for 6, 7, 8 years now. And then one played in the 70s and early 80s.
Well, Drew definitely didn't get there.
Drew had 15 seasons.
Did he? He got there? Because his last game was his 1,000th game in the NHL.
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, no, I mean, I didn't realize it was that long. I knew it was long. I didn't think it was 15 years. He started playing. He was really, really young.
Well, okay, so I would like to look and see, like, go back and look at that because he played 2 games as like an emergency junior call up.
So
does
that counts.
count?
That counts.
Okay, well,
and the year he was traded.
Okay, yeah. So that, I mean, that's fair. I count that year because it was the final season. He played 2/3 of it here, but yeah, he was an emergency call up when they were in Ottawa and they had like a million injuries and he played for the Ottawa junior team. So they were able to bring him up to the squad that I remember when that happened, but I don't know. Seems kind of a little.
All right. Well, fine. 14 years. Fine. 14 years.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I didn't think he got the 15. That's all I'm saying.
Who's the other Flyer?
Is it Clark?
Clarkie. Yep.
Yeah. It's gotta be Clark.
So I mean, like you think about it, like Bobby Clark, all-time Flyer. Now, Brandon isn't going to be a Hall of Famer, right? Brandon's career will never be able to be defined by stats because he only had double-digit sacks once, and he only made one Pro Bowl. And I remember both times, and I can tell you this: getting the double-digit sacks was really, really important to him, and getting that Pro Bowl was really, really important to him. It was like he was a first-round draft pick. He ended up having win 2 Super Bowls here, but still, like, that validates you. You want to be playing with the best players. You want to be recognized as the best players. And I can just tell you, it meant a lot to him when he got 11 sacks. What was that, in 2022, the year that they went to the Super Bowl? He had that great year. Came close. He had 9.5 the one year, and I remember he just missed it. He was disappointed by it for sure. Phillies. There was 1, 2, 3. I think he was a Philly. Yeah, so you have like an old timer like Chuck Klein, 15 seasons as a Philly. There's a recent Philly, like like this century Philly that was 15 seasons. Can you name him? I didn't realize he played 15 years, man. He was young too.
Is it Jimmy?
J-Roll Jimmy Rollins. 15 seasons with the Fighting Phils. Yeah, that's crazy, man. I remember he came up. He was a 21-year-old rookie, and he came up. I think it was Terry Francona's last year, and then he came out his next year with Larry Bowa, and he changed the Phillies. 46 steals, had 12 triples, led the league in triples, led the league in steals, led the league in at bats as a rookie, 22-year-old rookie. And he played all the way up to 35 with the Phillies, man. 15 seasons.
Just random thought. I just pulled up that first round for Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
There's not many guys that would take over him for the whole length of their career.
Bro, it just goes to show you, like, everybody in the world would have said Earl Thomas, like, oh my God, Earl Thomas is going to be a Hall of Famer. And now look at Earl Thomas. Like, you know what Earl Thomas was most recently in the news for?
He got arrested for something stupid, didn't he?
Well, so he got arrested for something, but he was doing like verbos or Airbnbs, renting out houses and banging chicks. Him and his friend or his brother and his wife tracked him to like the location services or something, and showed up at this house where he was having like orgies in these Airbnbs. Yeah, there it is. Tim said it. Yep.
On a different note, the only guy I would 100% take over him is Trent Williams.
He's had a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah. The top 3 were Bradford, Sue, and Gerald McCoy.
He's in Bradford's draft. It's crazy.
Yep.
No, so what's another thing I saw? Another one I had here. I don't know. It was something like, here's who was. So his rookie year. Here were some of his teammates. Delco Steve, Michael Vick, Quentin Michael, Asante Samuel, Ellis Hobbs, King Dunlap. Yes, King Dunlap, and Hank Baskett.
Hank Baskett. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a long time.
He was supposed to be so good.
Well. Yeah, and remember what happened?
No, I don't.
Well, he ended up marrying that Playboy playmate, the whatever.
That's right.
And then there was a whole lot of stuff that was going on with Hank. I'll say that.
I'll have to get on my Google afterwards.
Yeah, Google it. No, there was like there was a lot going on with Hank. It was a Kendra Wilkinson. Was that her name? Kendra Wilkinson. Anyway,
Something
so
like that.
all right, so I meant to talk about this today with Black Gritty. We didn't get to it. So what's the goodbye song that you play for Brandon Graham? Because you know what I mean? Like if there's a guy that you're like, you can't wait, like you play In Sync, bye, bye, bye. If it's a guy that's like, thank God. Bye, 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 bye. But for Brandon, I think it would have to be somber and like somewhat sad.
What's the Wiz Khalifa song for when the guy from Fast and Furious died?
Oh, I have no idea.
It's See You Again. It's the name of the song, but I can't remember. I'm trying to remember the actor's name that died. Oh my God.
Died in real life. He died on the movie. That whoever
no,
it was.
No, yeah, the main guy died
in real life.
In real life while they were filming the movie, and then they ended they were able to finish the movie with his brother actually, and
die for you.
That it's See You Again. See You Again by Wiz Khalifa.
I'd play it, but then I'd have to
we
monetize it. Yeah.
Paul Walker, thank you, Vince.
Paul Walker. Yeah, no, I knew once someone would say it, I would do it.
But yeah, I think it was like Fast 6, 7, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah, I've never seen one of them.
Oh, you're missing out. One and 1, 4, 5 are good, and then 2 or 3 are novelty good.
Who's the meathead? Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Don't you watch it and laugh because it's like unintentional comedy because he's so bad?
100%.
Okay, that's what I hear people say. They laugh at it.
Dude, well, by the end of it, like I don't know. I don't even think I watched the last one, but I think it was like 8. They're like in space.
It's impressive they were able to have a franchise that many and be that successful. Oh man, they made a ton of money.
And apparently they're gonna do now they're gonna do a last one where it's like back to like what it was in the beginning, like actual realistic stuff, not just we're on a submarine and nuclear missiles and this, that, and the other thing.
You look like you like Fast and the Furious.
Oh, dude, those movies are great. They're great.
You do. What else did we have here with this? All right, so Brandon Graham, we love you, buddy. Congratulations. So happy for him. He's gonna be around. He'll be Mr. Eagle. He's not going anywhere.
He'll be getting a radio job for sure.
Nah.
He
made too much money. No, Brandon.
I think he likes to talk too much.
Well, I think he can do a once a week show, or do some stuff on,
or like the game day, like be on the Comcast sort of thing.
I don't know. They don't pay enough. He's gonna be an ambassador to the Eagles. He can't be slumming doing pre and post game. Not that I'm saying that's like slumming, but
no, I know what you mean.
Like Jaws played during a time that quarterbacks didn't make $40 million a year, and Jaws has made a lot of money. He's a very successful business guy, but still,
I think he's okay.
Yeah, like he doesn't need to do that, but still, like he's been doing that since he stopped playing. He enjoys it. Barrett had a nice NFL career, made some money, but still, like they don't make enough money to where they don't have to work anymore, right? Like Ike made good NFL money. He can't not work, and he enjoys it too. Like he loves it. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brandon could be a full-time media guy, but he could do some stuff. He was doing some stuff like at the end of the year when he was hurt. He was doing stuff with ESPN. So his agent probably wants him doing that, but I just think he's better suited. Hey, bro, you're settling down here. You're raising your family here. You're Mr. Eagle. Just be Mr. Eagle.
He could be like the top or the Helen Kelly's role with the Flyers, where he's at the stadium for every game, and
you're Mr. Eagle. Hey, yeah. Get in the organization and be a part of like what Harold Carmichael used to do with the Eagles before Chip fired him. That piece of shit, Chip Kelly, where he fired him. Like what Harold did, like he looked out for the young guys. Like he helped develop the younger players as men and football players and everything else. And that's something that BG's got a gift for what for the relationships that he forms with these other guys. He relates to them. They relate to him, even the younger guys, man.
Well, that's I was about to say, like he's 36 now, 37,
almost 37, yeah.
So but he's like a kid though. He's just like a big kid.
He is.
So he can relate to any age group, like no problem. I mean, it's like I felt like when I met him, like he was way older than me, but at the same time, he really wasn't. But it was just easy to like, he could just talk to anybody. So how can he could build a relationship with a 20-year-old that just came out of the
Yeah. All right. Well, we love you, Brandon. Sure, we're going to be seeing more of that. All right, so Eagles made a couple moves this week. I don't know how you feel about it, Delco Steve, but when you look at this defensive line now, and they allowed Milton Williams, who was young, he departs, makes a lot of money. Josh Sweat was 28, 27, 28, something like that.
Ish.
Right. But you look at this defensive line now. So they signed Azeez Ojulari, 25 years old, former second-round pick, just finished his first contract with the Giants. Giants were interested in bringing him back. Eagles got him for 1 year. Was it $4.5 million?
Yep.
$4 million, something like that. And then Josh Uche, who's 27 years old, he's a former second-round pick. He had 11.5 sacks with the Patriots a couple years ago. He's on a 1-year deal. So if you look at this defensive line now, and I'm ready to get going, man. I'm ready to get lathered up. Howie Roseman is unbelievable. Jalen Carter's 24. Jordan Davis is 25. Nolan Smith is 24. Jalix Hunt is 24. Ojomo's 24. Ojulari's 25. Uche's 27. Booker made plays when he was in there. Yep. 25. Patrick Johnson, 26. Byron Young, 24. That's your defensive line. Everybody's 24. The elder statesman's Josh Uche. 27.
God, there's a lot of motor in that defensive line.
You said it. And Uche and Ojulari, it's smart signings, even though it's a 1-year deal. Look at Sweat this year. Nolan Smith was able to be as productive as he's been because you have those guys on the inside. And I know Milton Williams isn't there anymore, but there's going to be a ton of attention paid to Jalen Carter. And to be a situational pass rusher and to come in on obvious passing downs. And all Vic Fangio is going to say to him is, get to the quarterback. And they're athletic. And there's going to be games where they just have, like, if they go up against some slow tackle, that's what, look out, man. Look out. These guys could have monster seasons and then leave, but have double-digit sack seasons. I love the moves. This defense, even though they lost some really good players, I think will be as. Do you think the defense has fallen off? Maybe a little bit.
The only position they haven't totally addressed yet is a full replacement for Slay. And I love Josh Sweat as a Florida State. Yeah, with CJ GJ. I think Cooper DeJean kind of. I'm curious to see how they're going to use him going forward. Is he going to be like the weapon kind of guy instead of just a slot corner?
Right.
So I think he could kind of take over some of CJ stuff. But like the D line, it's like I love Sweat as a Florida State guy. And then like I said about Milton, like I was a big fan of him for the last few years. It's like I also don't see those guys' production being irreplaceable. So it's if they get another type of corner, I'm not saying like draft a corner in the first round, but if they draft a corner second, third, fourth round that they think can step in to play snaps, then I don't think the defense has lost a step anywhere really on any level of the D.
Ringo apparently is going to be given first crack to be the starting corner, but then they sign Adoree Jackson from the Giants on a 1-year deal. Like he's not going to make the Pro Bowl, but what you're doing is you're giving a young player an opportunity to grab the job. And then if he struggles or you're like, that's what Adoree Jackson's there for. And Adoree Jackson's not going to be great. Like think Steve Nelson.
He's fine.
He's fine. He can come in and start. And he's versatile. He's played slot. He can play the outside. Right.
And no matter what, he's a punt returner, kick returner type player.
Well, and they signed a kick returner from Atlanta too. I don't even know.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Missed that.
Yeah, they signed he's a gadget player / punt returner, kick returner. Eagles, because Britton Covey's gone.
Thank God.
Eagles sign punt returner. Because the kick returner is not even real anymore, is it? Avery Williams.
I have absolutely no idea who that is.
Yeah, I mean.
And I know probably 90% of the guys in the league.
5th round pick from the Falcons, drafted as a corner. moved the running back, and then is just pretty much a straight returner / gadget guy. So they seems like they have their new return specialist, as they call them right now.
Yeah.
So, but
I mean, do you have faith in Ringo? I don't know.
No.
There's nothing that's been like, oh yeah, look at that potential.
All right, so I'm not going to say no. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, yep, he's the starter. We don't need to worry about it. How would we know? Like I didn't see enough on the field to know that, but I can trust that Vic Fangio and Howie know they know better than anybody what they have, right? So that's why you bring in the veteran as insurance in case there's an injury or in case Ringo just doesn't cut it. Because the guys that are behind them, the young guys, maybe they draft somebody, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to add another player or two. But it really does, to your point with the draft, there's not an obvious need. Other than tight end. There's not an obvious. You could use a linebacker. You could go corner. You could go safety. Depth on the offensive line. I
was going to say, I definitely think we're in a position to be we're not drafting for need. We're drafting for that best player available, no matter whatever position. It doesn't matter. Because if you take an offensive lineman, great. He slots in somewhere in the next year or two. You take a defensive lineman, he slots in the next year or two.
Do they trade out of the first round?
I think I said this last week. I'm okay with trading out of 32 because I think you get a premium on the teams coming up to 32
that want that fifth year.
Who want that fifth year option. So if you hit the option to do it, great. If like dropping back 3 or 4 spots, 5 spots, you're still probably getting the guy you want.
Right. Well, they did it with Dallas Goedert, if you remember. They were able to move out of the first round because they like Goddard. Howie's great at reading draft boards and knowing kind of where guys are going based on his relationships, based on just kind of guessing where teams are going. And then just like with Devontae Smith, he was able to trade back and then trade back up, and he was able to get the player that he wanted, and he was able to get the draft picks and whatever else. So he's really, really good at doing that.
Dallas Goedert, then they jumped in front of Dallas to draft him because that was right when Witten was retiring, I believe.
Dallas Goedert. So they traded Dallas Goedert, draft, Eagles trade. Now see, it's not giving me what I'm looking for. But anyway, they got him 49th overall. They traded their number 52 and then their 5th to move up to get him ahead of the Cowboys at 50.
Gotta love it.
So the Cowboys are going to end up paying Micah Parsons $40 million a year because they're under pressure. Because
$41 million a year.
Right. Yeah.
He's gonna make more than Chase now.
Yep. So now they're going to have to. I mean, at least that's kind of what my read is right now, that they're feeling the pressure of being like, now everybody's killing the Cowboys. They were in on Cooper Kupp, and then they backed away when it got to like the $13-14 million a year type thing, which, by the way, may not have been the Cooper Kupp hasn't been healthy in a while, man. You know what happened? You can't be on the field and you're paying a guy, you give him $45 million contract or a $30 million guarantee, right? Like, he better be able to play and be healthy. But it makes the Cowboys look cheap, and it makes it look like that Jerry Jones isn't all in like he tries to claim that he is, because they need a wide receiver. It's obvious they need more talent. They need a wide receiver. And and the story that comes out is they were in on him until it got to like $12 million a year, and that's when they tapped out.
It makes no sense because they just reworked those contracts. So you're adding those dead years at the end for what reason? You're not even using the cap space that you created. And
it's unbelievable.
And I feel like they're trying to do like what we do, where because they picked up like 4 former first round picks in the last like 3 drafts this offseason, and none of them are good. They're not like but they're not in a position to take the reclamation projects and hope to turn them into something.
Nope.
It's like they're counting on those guys to be their acquisitions for the offseason. It's like last year they didn't even make it. They signed 1 free agent last offseason, and this year they've done a bunch of nothing again.
Nothing.
And they still can't sign their own guys.
Well, they lost their running back.
Yep, Rico.
Yeah. Rico Dowdle, and then they replaced them, and they're weaker in the running back position now. Good old Jer.
Wait, did they sign Miles Sanders, or am I just making that up?
They did.
Okay.
They signed 2 running backs.
They signed Sanders and the kid from Denver, Williams.
Yeah, Javonte Williams, yes. Yep. Yeah, which he's a pretty good player. I like him. But he's more of like a between the tackles. I don't think he's a dynamic running back. He's good though.
I can't wait to have Miles Sanders get
pummeled.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Javonte Williams, what did he do this year?
A whole lot of nothing.
Well, like not a high like average yards per carry guy, I think. Let me see.
He was Denver's backfield was one of the most frustrating things ever of last offseason.
Yeah, 3.7 yards a carry. Season. Last 2 years, he hasn't averaged more than 3.7 yards a carry.
Yeah, I think the year before that, he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Right. So he was supposed to be the next big running back and then tore his ACL and just hasn't been the same since.
I guess the other big, God, it's only Wednesday. Mekhi Becton signs with the Chargers. You know, the details of this contract aren't out yet. You know why? Because this is a 1-year contract. It got introduced as a 2-year, $20 million contract. This is probably like a little bit more than $10 million guaranteed. And that's it. And then they'll be able to get out of it after 1 year. He did not have a market. And the Eagles, for everybody that we were all talking like, oh, we could be back if, a hometown discount. And, if he prices himself out, then there's no way the Eagles are going to give him $20 million a year. But listen, like maybe $8 million or $10 million, they'll bring him back. The Eagles didn't want him. And I don't mean that. I'm not trying to be mean. Right. The Eagles didn't want him. If the Eagles wanted him back, it would have been very easy to bring him back when you look at the contract that he signed with the Chargers.
Well, I said to you a couple weeks ago, I'm like, if you gave me 2 years, $20 million, I would take that because I thought that would be the time frame for Lane Johnson retiring, where it's like where you could kick him out or give him a new contract when you kick him out the right tackle. But
there's got to be something going on.
I think he's in a great spot. I do
too. I
think that system fits him perfectly because they want to run the ball and be a road grade type offense. They got 2 awesome tackles on that offensive line already. So I think he just fits right in like he did here.
Yeah, you need a good offensive line around them. I mean, I think there's a couple things, right? Teams obviously weren't sold that he can go to another team and be a standout Pro Bowl type player, even at guard. Because when you come here, as long as in his goodbye letter that he tweeted out or whatever, I thought was really good. And it was really genuine because he talked about coming in and everybody holds everybody accountable. And the fact that he was pushed and taught and he had to live up to the Eagles standard and everything else. I should actually pull it up and read it because I thought it was really good. But like, if you go to a team that doesn't have that type of culture and have that type of offensive line coach and have those type of players, then you're just another guy, right? But when you come in, here it is. Let me see it. He says, coming into a new locker room, you never know what to expect. But from early on, it was evident that this team was special. The bond we built, the standard we upheld, and the way we showed up for each other every single day. That's what made this past season the most fun I've ever had playing football. And it was all because of the guys in the locker room. To the offensive line, I couldn't have asked for a better group of guys to go to battle with. Thank y'all for welcoming me in and for setting the standard for showing me what it truly means to prepare, to fight through injuries, to push through the pain, and to handle business at the highest level. I learned so much just from being around each of you, and that's something I'll always appreciate. Coach Jeff Stoutland, thank you from day one. You believed in me, even before I fully believed in myself. You saw something in me, challenged me, pushed me to reach a level I never knew I had. You made me a better player, but more importantly, a better man. What I'll take away most is your mindset, your attention to detail. And by the way you prepared every single day, you set the standard, and that will stick with me as I continue my career. And he went on and he thanked the fans in the city and everything else. But yeah, you come in, guess what? Hey, Becton, if you're not buying into everything that this line's doing, you're not going to start. You're going to be on the bench. And he came in and he won the job. So now the other guy, whether it's going to be the new guy Green or it's going to be Steen, they're going to have to do the same thing or they're not going to play. It's that simple. So obviously teams around the league weren't sold that he can be that type of championship player on another team. I think that's part of it. And then there's got to be something else. There's got to be, and I'm not going to say off the field stuff, but there's got to be something else. No freaking way is this guy getting a 1-year contract. Like his tape had to be at least okay if you watched it. So there's got to be something else that turned teams off. But listen, I wish him well. And I think, like you had said, I think it's a good spot for him out there. I do.
Yeah, I 100% fits exactly what his type of mindset. So, I mean, like you said, if he goes in, does it again, different market next offseason or the following one after that. It's a bet on himself again kind of thing.
And Harbaugh likes to run the ball. You know, like even though he's Justin Herbert, he's not throwing the ball a shit ton.
No.
So that's good.
They literally got rid of all the receivers last year.
They did. Yeah, so they'll run the ball a lot, and that's probably why they look at him and say, like, hey, he can definitely help us in the run game. Good story with Mekhi Becton coming in here. Well, we will always have Mekhi Becton.
Yep.
And the season. What else do we have here? So the Eagles have changed the NFL. Does everybody understand this? The Eagles have taken over the NFL, and everybody knows it, and it makes them extremely uncomfortable with that. Joe Burrow comes out the week of the Super Bowl and says, the Eagles are paying everybody. I want to do that, right? And then how many times have we talked about this? Since we started doing this, we've been talking about this. And then the media starts looking at it, the national media. And then the reporters for each team. So like the Cincinnati reporters start looking at it. And then the Dallas media, the Cowboys media for the last year, since they're like, hold on, why is Jerry always crying cap poor and the Eagles are signing everybody? All of a sudden, everybody realizes, oh, you can pretty much sign whoever you want to. Just structure the contracts and pay them, right? So Joe Burrow goes on Pardon My Take and says, like, yeah, well, I want, like the Eagles sign everybody. Why can't I have T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? Both guys sign. That's not a Bengals thing to do. That's Joe Burrow saying, hey, you better sign these guys or I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to leave. So the Eagles, the way that they've done business, everybody now sees it. And now these owners are going to have to start doing what the Eagles are doing, which is paying their players, man. So, they really have. The Eagles have set the standard for excellence in the NFL. It's unbelievable.
And you look at today was the rules overview or whatever.
The tush push.
Yeah. So the Eagles had put up 2 rules changes, and then one of the other 2 rules that was brought up was against the Eagles.
Yeah, the Packers, the tush push.
So it's just funny how they're involved in literally everything that's going on.
And the 2 reasons, you see the 2 reasons, the injury part for the players, and there wasn't one documented injury.
Yep.
And pace of play.
Pace of play?
What's the difference between that and handing the ball to a running back from the 1-yard line?
It's the only thing I can think of is if they're arguing about the spot and they can't see it as clear.
But I read it as it slows the game down. If it's
that's what I mean. They're trying to get the spot of the ball, slowing the game down.
But if it's 3rd and short, they're going to run the ball anyway. It's going to be a quarterback sneak anyway. It's just that you have Jalen Hurts and they're pushing him on the tush.
Yeah,
the Packers, that GM, whoever that guy is, that president. I'd like to stick his head in the toilet and flush it.
Some with a G.
Mark Murphy. Is that his name? Not Gudenkeist or whatever. No,
that's what I'm thinking about.
It's not the GM. It's the president. It's the president of the team.
I thought he was the whole thing.
Yep. No, he's not. No, you have a CEO because.
Well, yeah, because they don't have an owner.
They don't have an owner, right? I think it's Mark Murphy. HY Packers. Yes, Packers.
Okay.
Mark Murphy.
Crybaby.
Yep. When. Oh, dude. Oh my God. And he looks like he's from up there. Let me see here. Oh boy. Yeah, this guy there's no if this guy came to me and was like, hey, I'd like to I want to pass a rule. I'd be like, no, Go away.
Automatically, no.
Automatically, no. I didn't even hear what you said. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. No. Do I have to shift S? Yeah, there we go. There it is. Okay, say it's this guy over here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Hey, buddy. All right, whatever. That's the tush push. What else? So are you good, Delco Steve? You're happy with the Eagles off season?
Yeah,
good?
I didn't expect anything crazy to begin with. And obviously this if it wasn't clear already, this is a terrible free agent class. There wasn't much of anything spectacular.
I'm actually surprised they have already signed as many players as they have.
Who did speaking of working the cap, who the hell did we sign for 1 year that had like 4 void years on it? Was that Uche?
Yeah, it was. I think it was Uche. It was one of them.
Yeah, it was. I was cracking up when I was reading it. It was like, what's his cap hit? $30?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just keep. Oh, but at some point the Eagles are going to pay. Why? Why at some point are the Eagles going to pay? The cap goes up $25 million at least every year. Guys, people are so dumb. They still don't get it.
That's the money that you're wasting every year. It's like, who cares?
Oh my God, man! And they did like Lane Johnson just got more money.
Yep.
They just extended him and reworked the contract. And like, listen, I'm not gonna. I even said this on here recently that it was like, oh, but you gotta get ready for Lane. He's gonna retire soon. Lane, at least 3 more years, and I think then he might have another year after that. So he'll be 37 at the end of this. He got additional year tacked on, so 3 more years Lane's under contract for. So we'll see after that.
End of 27, isn't it? So, or he'll be a free agent in 27.
So it's
2 years.
25, 26. I'm pretty sure he's still under contract for 2027. Lane Johnson. Whatever. Right. Well, I mean, it's not like he's leaving for free agency anyway.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
yes, obviously.
Remember how many? Yeah. So he's an unrestricted in. You're right. He's an unrestricted in 27. It's a void year. Yeah. He says void year. He's 4 void years on the end of his contract.
I was about to say, I'm surprised there isn't 10 void years on the end of that.
His cap hit this year is $17 million, and then it goes up to 22. And then he has all the void years or whatever. All right. Well, there you go. So what's going on with the Flyers, man?
They're officially bottom 5 in the NHL right now.
Are they really?
Yep. It's been bad. It's been real bad lately. And it just feels like a lot like Fedotov finally got it figured out. And then they play the Lightning. He plays a great game. They lose 2-0. It's just, I don't know. I'm losing it at the moment. They finally traded Scott Lawton, been asking for that for years, got a pick 2 years away from now. And I'm like, just give me the offseason and get me start trading some of these picks where we can get some players that can score on this team. Because that's where I'm at.
So being a true Zamboner and casual fan at best, why can't they just put together a team that's, I'm not even saying like Stanley Cup winner, but they can win a round or 2 in the playoffs? Like, why? When was the last time they did that? In more than 1 year? In more than 1 year, they did it for 1 year, right?
Yeah, the COVID year was
which shouldn't count.
Well, the shitty thing about the COVID year was they were on a 10-game winning streak when COVID happened.
Really?
And yeah, they were killing it. They were literally the best team in the league at that moment in time. Then COVID happened. They came out of it. They dominated the little round robin thing that got them they ended up in the 1 seed of that playoffs. And then all of a sudden it was just straight downhill. They lost in the second round to the
and that was Alain Vigneault's first year. All right. Yeah, because I actually thought that he would come in and light a fire under him, and then they would hate him and he'd be fired the next year, which is almost what happened.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they haven't been to the playoffs in back-to-back years since 2012.
Yep.
That's a long time, bro. So they lost first round. They lost in the first round, missed for a year. lost for the first round, missed for a year, lost in the first round, missed in a year, and then that's when they lost in the second round. That was the COVID year. And now there's been 5 seasons since then, including this year, and they've missed the playoffs for 5 seasons.
Yep.
Jesus Christ, man.
And they literally didn't miss the playoff. I think they missed the playoffs once in my entire life up until 2012.
I mean, listen, even with, and I guess Laviolette, everybody wants him fired in New York. I didn't even realize he was the Rangers coach until I saw Boomer Esiason lit him up today. But with Laviolette, I mean, even with John Stevens, they lost in the conference finals. They lost in the quarterfinals. They lost in the Stanley Cup finals. That's Laviolette when he took over for Stevens. Lost in the semis. So there was a 5-year run where you were in a cup you lost, you were in 2 semifinals, and you were in a conference final.
Yeah, and then,
I'll take that.
The year they fired Laviolette too was the year they brought in Vinny Lecavalier, and then they signed him to a 3-year deal, and they literally fired Laviolette 4 games into the season.
Right. Oh yeah, no, like they wanted to fire him before the season, but they let him actually go out there knowing they were going to fire him because the team was a mess.
But you were also signing players based on his system. Him. Yeah, it's like how do you the organization was in such dysfunction back then. It made no sense. Like Paul Holmgren ran the team into the ground. Then Hextall couldn't bring him out of it. But it's like now we look like a Howie Roseman draft kind of thing going on here with how many picks we have. It's time to utilize those picks and hopefully get some established players that can play now.
Well, I need a mock draft out of you for the NHL as well. So I know you have your NFL mock draft coming out soon.
Yeah, I'll do it again. I'll do a first rounder again like I did last year.
All right. 1.0. You don't do anything than that. You do 1.
1.0 right before the draft, and that's it.
That's it. That's it. You two, you got other stuff going on. You can't be putting out mock drafts all the time.
Yeah, no. And then the hockey, you only need like the top 5, and then everything after that, nobody knows who they are anyway.
Nope, they don't. It was in the OHL.
Top 3 this year, though, is all good players. So if they get lucky with some ping pong balls, they might get
I've been hearing about all these great young players for I don't know how long, and I'm still waiting to see them.
Well, the Flyers don't have any of them. I'm saying in this draft, there's the top 3 could all be number 1.
Is the Ghost playing for a team right now?
Yeah, he plays for Carolina, and he's doing well.
Is he really?
Yeah. The year we paid to trade him to Phoenix. We paid a 2nd-round pick to trade him to Phoenix. Phoenix literally traded him at that deadline to Carolina for a 2nd-round pick. So they got 2 draft picks for taking him from us and then trading him at the deadline
because he had a contract they didn't want to pay.
Right, but it just shows you how short-sighted this team is. Where if you kept him for that season, instead of being like, oh, we got to dump his $4 million salary, which isn't that bad, but it's only bad to the Flyers because they just put themselves in cap hell all the time.
Right,
and that it's like you literally could have held him for 4 freaking months and got a 2nd-round pick for him instead of trading a 2nd-round pick to get rid of him.
He just had 2 assists against the Flyers at the Flyers.
Yes, he did.
Oh, Ghost. Remember when Bob, I think he was a rookie, and Ed Snyder's like, no, he's not good enough. We need to go out and get Brizgalov. Well, and instead of keeping Bobrovsky around because he was a young goalie, They have to trade him right away. Dude turns into a stud, wins cups and trophies and stuff. And Brizgalov was a fucking cosmonaut. Yeah. Did he have 2? Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah, and Brizgalov is a he's on Mars.
Well, that whole season didn't make sense at all. Like going into it, they went into the playoffs with Boucher and which. I'm biased. He's my all-time favorite goalie. Doesn't matter. I know he's not great. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But it was Boucher and Michael Leighton. And then they signed Bob. No one knew who Bob was. Preseason, he's playing all these games. Everyone's like, oh, he's going to be good in a couple years. Opening night starter where everyone's expecting it to be Boucher. And, oh, it's Bob. Okay, cool. Starts the whole first half of the year. He's doing good. Tailed off towards the second end.
Right.
All right, whatever. But he's a young guy. You go through these you decide to go with the young guy, you go through the growing pains. You stick with him. And then literally first off season, they had the chance. Let's go pay $50 million to Brizgalov, who they ended up buying out a few years later anyway.
Yeah. They had to pay him to leave.
If they went through what they did with the goalies they had, not counting Bob, and they had a collapse, and they went and signed Briz. Fine, whatever.
Right.
But you literally, Bob was part of the problem in that year. You let him take the bullets, so you at least let him develop, and hopefully he turns into what he did anyway.
What year did Ed Snyder die? Do you remember? Because it was after that, right? Because he was there for the, because I mean the team that went
he was after Bob.
The team that went, well, I know that he was instrumental in being like, no, go out and get a goalie, but like that was a pretty talented team. I think the problem was Snyder, and like, man, he wanted to win, and he would outspend any NHL owner. The salary cap, actually, I mean, they had to have the salary cap a lot because of the Rangers and the Flyers. They were just like, Chris Gratton became a Flyer because Ed Snyder would just put his thumb on the scale and say like, hey, Tampa Bay, you can't afford him, so we're going to trade something because we want him, and we'll just give him this big contract. It's not like Ed Snyder was some cheap bastard that didn't want to win, but he saw the window and he knew he was getting old. He wanted to win. So that's how you get Brizgalov in here and you trade the young goalie away. God, man. If I was a Flyers fan, I would have been really, really pissed, but I'm just a casual.
It didn't even bother me that much at the time. It's like, I mean, looking back at it now, it's a completely different story. But it's that the problem really, though, is the organization that it's where these guys that are premium free agents don't even want to come here anymore. Or the last decade haven't wanted to come here. Like, we had to overpay for, Kevin Hayes by $1.5 million a year to get him to sign in Philly. It's like he wasn't a $7 million player when he signed, but that's what we had to do to get him to do it.
You need Mitchkov to turn into a superstar.
Yes,
and then you need some players around him that can control him, that can make sure that he doesn't turn into a diva or whatever else that's going on. Because he is awesome.
It's like I just had dinner last night with a buddy of mine, and we were trying to figure out like who the last 5 first-round picks for the Flyers are. And it's like, it's not good. Like, there's no one even coming up like now. Like, Mitchkov was the guy last year's first-round pick in Lachenko. There's no one to look forward to until they draft going forward. Wow. So they need to start accumulating young talent before they can do anything. But
that is a shame for the organization. It is.
Because they pretty much chalked this year when they traded Farabee and Frost and admitted to like a full-blown rebuild.
All right, whenever I hear the word Farabee, that's when it's time to move on because I can't. That's when I start getting into the weeds with it a little bit. Philly season starts a week from tomorrow, Delco Steve, so we don't have to give our official predictions because we'll be on next Wednesday. But still, it's even though there's regular season baseball that happened in Japan over the last 2 mornings, and then they go back and they don't do anything for a week. Yeah, it's here, man. It is here. It's probably going to be 40 degrees next Thursday down in Washington if you want to go watch them play. I'm out. I'm out.
I went to like the second Phillies home night, their first night game a few years back. Sat there and froze my ass off, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good on these first few games in April at night.
Yeah, talk to me in May. That's when I'll once halfway May goes.
And a 1:00 game, not a 7:00 game.
4:05 I'll do. On a Saturday? Yeah, like a Sunday at 1:00. Saturday at 4:05. It's still warm enough out. Gets a little chilly at night.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. Absolutely. What did you think of them playing in Japan at 6 a.m.?
It was fun for me to wake up and see if I hit any bets.
It was. Did you?
I hit Ohtani for a home run this morning, but
nice.
But I went with all the Japanese guys. I bet on Yoshi Yamamoto's strikeouts yesterday. That didn't hit. I bet on Sasaki strikeouts this morning, and that didn't hit. So.
Did you see the TV ratings that were out for the games?
They were actually on TV.
yeah, they were on TV.
I didn't even know. I didn't think they'd be on at 6. I don't know. Whatever. I wasn't looking for them.
So I'm talking about the ratings in Japan.
Oh, okay. No.
TV ratings Japan.
I thought you meant for here.
Yeah, I mean, no one was watching here. I don't think anybody's watching here.
Absolutely not.
Game 1. So they played 2 games across all platforms. 25 million viewers.
Wow.
So if you put that in perspective with how many people are in the country, I saw someone tweet this out. It's like 20% of Japan was watching the game, which is Ohtani. He's a national hero. He's the best player in Major League Baseball. He's winning titles, and now he's coming home, and it's like all Ohtani all the time. It's because like the World Series had averaged 15 million viewers in Japan.
Wow.
The Ohtani factor, right? So
at what time are those? Like, I have no idea it's got to be close to 24 hours, right? Difference?
It's 18.
18?
Yep.
No, I guess that's not too bad for watching a game then.
No, so let me just make sure that's right. Time in Tokyo right now is 11:05 a.m. So in 8 hours was when they were starting the game. So it's a 7:00 start. Yeah, 7:00 start. Yeah. So it's a primetime game for them, and it's 6 a.m. here. There's no real because you wouldn't because that's still like the Dodgers are playing. That's a 3 a.m. start for them. So that doesn't help the West Coast at all.
No.
So it's clear they don't even care about people watching in the United States. This is big in Japan. Listen, if they can get these if they can open up revenue streams over there because of Ohtani, they're making money off that over there, right? Like you think these are going to be the first games, the only games played in Japan? You're wrong.
Well, it seems like they're kind of like taking over Japan's league because like a lot of these guys are coming over younger now. And I actually came across an article the other day that didn't get a chance to read it, but it was talking about the effects of that on Japanese baseball. So I was kind of curious to see how that works. Because I obviously have no idea how any of it works.
No, well, listen, Phillies will get a guy eventually, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. If they ever get a meeting.
Well, they signed one guy. I think he's going to start the year in the minors, but they're just trying to get anybody in there that can maybe build relationships with the players. I don't know. Whatever. What are you going to do? All right. Finally, are you in on the tournament? Do you know any more than I do in the NCAA tournament? Because I know nothing.
Okay. Well, I know a little bit more than nothing, but not much.
I was watching.
We're rooting for Xavier right now.
I was watching Anthony's show, Anthony and Violations Greg, yesterday. Just talking. If you want to see PHLY and you have Xfinity, just talk into the remote and say PHLY, and we have our own channel. You can watch me live at 8:00 every morning. But so like Anthony, I'm not gonna say he spent the whole show, but he spent a good 90 minutes with a couple of guests talking about the tournament and games that were coming up, and like. I was like, I was amazed. Because if you would have said, listen, I have a suitcase full of money that I'm going to give you, but you got to go out there and you got to do a show, and you got to give me like all college basketball and interview guests and all that stuff. I wouldn't be able to do it. I would, and I couldn't even cram for a test. Like between him and Greg, and I think Violations Greg knows it because he's a degenerate gambler. But they know the players and the teams, and it's like, oh, that's a bad matchup for him because they play a lot of press defense, and this team's bad against pressure. And I'm just like, I'm like mind blown that they had this much knowledge about it. I don't even know the players other than Cooper Flagg and maybe some other guys.
Yeah, I'm nowhere close to in the weeds on college basketball. I watch more towards the end of championship week than I did all season combined.
Yep.
And there were a lot of good games. I enjoyed it. But I feel like I haven't enjoyed watching college basketball like that in a long time.
Well, listen, you get your kids off at 8 a.m., but it's available on podcast. Yeah. You can listen to it. Just search Philly with John Marks, or it's on YouTube, which means you can watch it whenever. Like people are watching right now.
You could play it as you're dropping the kids off at school.
Well, you can't listen. Yeah, but you can listen. Unfortunately, they don't have a listen live button now, the audio version of it.
Oh, well, you just pull it up on YouTube and leave it open.
Pull it up on YouTube. I mean, it's easy. It's easy.
You can open YouTube and leave it on the screen and still do
your
everything
Bluetooth.
else.
Yeah, and the Bluetooth, it plays.
Yep.
There we go. It's like one more thing I wanted to talk to you about. Oh, back to hockey. Do you see that Trump and Putin were having a conversation, and they were talking about an NHL KHL game?
Yeah.
Or a series of them?
Never gonna happen.
Well, I saw the NHL had a statement that was like, hey, we have nothing to do with any of this. But I just got to say this. It's a genius idea. You look at where we are right now as a world, and I'm not going to get political here, but this feels like Cold War era. that Trump is starting with all these other countries. Could you imagine Canada's booing the United States and the national anthem? How great was that? I mean, seriously, how great was the what was it called? The four countries or
the Four Nations?
Four Nations. It was awesome.
Oh yeah,
right?
It was amazing. The NHL is like trying to figure out how they can make it more realistic to do every year instead of an all-star game.
Oh yeah, no, because this was supposed to be a 1-year thing, and the NHL's like, yeah, we're trying to do it again next year instead of the all-star game. Yeah, it should be.
Well, the whole idea was to get it like as like an opening for the NHL players going back to the Olympics next year, because they haven't been in the last 3, I think. They haven't been in. So it was like, oh, like this will be like your little warm-up for Olympic hockey. And so they're going to have the break next year. They're not going to have an all-star break next year because of the Olympics. So they have 2 years to figure out some kind of game plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I would love to see a Cold War era Rocky against Drago, the Broad Street Bullies against the Soviets when they came in this Philadelphia, the hatred Spectrum that people had from at the Spectrum. Do you know the story of that the Broad Street Bullies were beating up the Soviets so bad that they tried to quit because they obviously weren't getting any calls in the 70s. I don't know if the referees weren't calling a lot of.
They probably weren't calling anything.
So they were saying we're out, and then somebody from the Flyers came down. I don't know if it was Ed Snyder or somebody was like, "You're not getting paid. You leave right now. You guys aren't getting paid." So they went back out there. But yeah, that was a beatdown. That was awesome.
It was a rough stretch for Russian hockey.
Yeah, sure is. What else? So Kevin's like 2-6. Not the bad news bears. 2-6. My old WIP time slot. No. I will not be working 2-6 on. Well, I couldn't do a 4-hour YouTube show anyway. 2-6 is with 20 minutes of commercial every hour. And, the commercials I'm doing on the PHLY show, I'm actually reading the commercials and then going right back into it. I'm not saying I'm roofing. Spot. Yeah, but you're talking straight. No, I'm not. I don't. It's like it's weird because on YouTube, when you're doing a digital show, like what's the best time to have it? When people are already at the office at 10 o'clock, or are you just hoping people will tune in throughout the day and throughout the night because they like your show and it doesn't necessarily have to be live, right? Because 8 o'clock in the morning, it's tough to get guests because people have kids and people are getting kids off to school or whatever. Like if I wasn't doing this job, I couldn't do a radio interview from 8 to 9. It would have to be after 9 or whatever. So like it's different. It's different, but 2-6 will not be in my future, Kevin. I can assure you that.
It's 2-6 in the morning, maybe.
You know what? If I didn't get fired from CBS Sports Radio, their longtime overnight host, she was like, they're not offering me enough of my contract. I'm not going to take it. I'm leaving. And she had just gotten married and stuff. And she did overnights for a long time. And she was like, it was taking a toll on my health, which I'm sure it was. And like when I saw that she was leaving, I was like, I could have had the job because I would fill in for her, and I did the weekends, and the audience liked me. I did a good job. Thank God I left, because I probably would have taken the job. And the last thing I need, Delco Steve, is to be working overnight radio with 3 young kids. You would
have loved it. You would have loved it.
But how would my health have been, bro?
Oh, you'd be way more gray.
I'm entering the territory of 50. But yes, I would have loved it, but it would have been really, really difficult. But and by the way, she was horrible. The show was horrible.
Well, that's why they liked you then.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I got a great one for you. Right. So I went to turn on the Celtics Nets game the other night. Have you ever watched the Boston Celtics home broadcast?
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Well, it's a young kid, and you're talking about the TV broadcast?
Yeah.
It's like a 20-some-year-old dude, and it's Scalabrini and.
Did I get a random thing? Because it was like a young chick play-by-play, Jackie, what's her name from Around the Horn?
McMullen,
and then a WNBA player.
Maybe. Were you on ESPN?
No, it was on NBA TV, but it was Boston's like broadcast.
Maybe they had play-by-play.
It was
announcer tonight, because it's Drew Carter is the. So Drew Carter is he's the play-by-play guy, and he's like literally 27. NBC Boston to feature all-female broadcast for Celtics and Nets celebrating Women's History Month.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Thank God
that Abby Chin. Okay, yeah, it was Abby Chin.
Because if that was every night, I would never watch a basketball game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's the current 76er team is difficult to watch for me.
I agree.
And Allah has a lot to do with that. I think Kate.
I'm definitely not a fan of Allah.
Yeah, no, I'm not at all. And I think Kate could be better with a better partner. But and I thought Zumhofe was fine. I like, not that I wasn't a fan of Zumhofe, but Zumhofe was good. He was good. You really appreciated him after he left because he rose to the occasion for big calls. He made good big calls. Little bit too cheesy. Like Allah, how Allah's cheesy. I hated that. Like I hate a little bit too cheesy for Zumhofe with depending on who the partner was. I like Zumhofe and Steve Mix. I thought that was a really, really good team. Really, really good team. But yeah, like Kate's a little bit of a tough listen with Allah, but she also I don't know. Yeah, like Kev, dude, you're absolutely right. This is not a fight that I want any parts of. No. You could say Tom McCarthy blows and he's the worst and whatever, and everybody won't say anything. You say anything about Kate Scott, look out, man. You're in trouble.
It really is true.
So look out. And by the way, I think everybody likes T-Mac now, right?
Yeah, I like T-Mac. He's fine.
He's good.
He's whatever. I mean, I don't hate listening to him.
So you're not a big fan.
The only person of Philly listening to that I'm really a big fan is Jim Jackson. I can listen to him narrate him watching me eat my cereal in the morning. I think he's awesome.
Hey, Sunday guys!
I think he does a great job, and I'm going to be really sad when he retires.
I agree. I think he's great at doing. He's great at hockey. Great at hockey.
Yeah, I don't know what he would do. Well, he does baseball he does Phillies on the radio, right?
He does not anymore. No.
Okay. All right,
he did middle innings and he did pre and post. And listen, he was fine. But I
wasn't listening to baseball on the radio as much anyway.
I like Fransky. Oh, I can't wait.
This is your favorite. That's your favorite baseball on the radio.
Teams. So because I like T-Mac as well. Like I will, depending. For the most part, I'll have Scott in LA on, and then when I go to sit down, then I just have the TV on. But when I'm doing dishes, I have the TV on mute, and I have Scott in LA, because if something happens on the radio broadcast, you'll hear it first before the TV, and then you can look up and you can see what happens on the TV, which is cool. Yeah, so if you hear like a home run,
strategy.
Yeah. So it's good. Oh, I can't wait. A week away.
8 more days.
Yep. Yeah, I listened to Cole Hamels. We'll see. We'll see if he has insights. He had no idea about I was watching a spring training game. He had no idea about the ABS, the automated ball strike system. And
he doesn't need to. It's not going to be in the majors anyway.
No, I know, but so McCarthy was trying to explain that in the spring training games that had it were minor league parks that were in the Florida State League. So the Florida State League is like Clearwater and the Mets, and so like it's low A. It used to be high A. They have the ABS technology in the stadiums because that's where they were doing it. Right, that's where they used it. So he was explaining why the Phillies didn't have it in a previous game, but they have it today. So Cole's like, so they like do this in the minor leagues? They've done this in the minor leagues, and like Tom's trying to explain to him, like, yeah, for like the last couple of years, they've been testing it out in the minor leagues. And he's like, oh, and it's like, all right, Cole. Because I mean, it's tough. You don't know how closely these guys are following it. Like he's been trying to get back in baseball. He's probably not reading a lot of ESPN.com or things like that. I mean, I don't know. I think he'll be pretty good though.
Yeah, I think it's for any of these guys once they they got to get the hang of it first before they can, start actually like developing some kind of skills for it.
Right. Well, especially if they've never really paid attention to it before. Like with Tom Brady, I thought Brady by the end of the year was good enough. I don't know about doing a Super Bowl. He's not giving you. He's not giving you.
He was
insights.
terrible in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was. And Troy Aikman is awesome, right?
Like, Troy was the best. I could listen to him for every game, every football game.
But another guy that has no instincts for the job, like it's going to take him a couple years to do it, right? So I don't know. Do you like Ruben Amaro doing the games?
No. No. Absolutely not. No. He's so corny, man.
You don't like Rube?
No.
I see, like, I don't know, man. Like sometimes he gives insights, and I like Ruben Amaro Jr. a lot personally, and maybe that plays into it. But I get good insights from him, from his playing career and his managing career and stuff.
When I say I don't like someone, it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, I think they're an idiot or something. It's just like I just need him to like tone it down a bit. I feel like he gets like too like in the weeds with stuff.
Okay, that's a fair criticism.
It's like I think like over dramatic and like I'm just like, dude, relax. It's the third inning. It's 2-2.
Tim says Schmidt can be annoying, and he can, but he also sometimes he'll give you an insight where it's like, wow, like that's really good. And then Kruk, Kruk's talking about a game in a Mexican prison back when he was in the minors or whatever. It's like
dude, you have no idea what's coming out of Kruk's mouth at any given moment. Like it could literally be anything.
Yep. How about Ben Davis? Big Ben Davis.
I like Ben Davis.
I like Ben. Ben's good. And again, I like Ben a lot personally. So when I watch the games, I'm good with Ben Davis. Obviously, Kruk is the standard. And
I don't need to listen to Kruk. Honestly, I could.
You don't like Kruk?
I could do without him. I mean,
really?
When he gets into like totally off script, I'm just like, dude.
So you want more focus on the game. You need more of a balance between the game and.
I'm not saying don't have the antics, but like some of his antics they just go on and on and on and on and on. I'm like, all right, dude, I got it. Like, just you can kill it now.
Right. Yeah, I think that's fair as well.
But like sometimes, don't get me wrong, there'll be times where I'm sitting there cackling and laughing at the stuff that he's uttering.
Yeah, I mean and then he'll give you something about what a lot of people don't know about Crucky and Dutch actually. And I thought about Dutch a lot after Brandon Graham retired because Dutch remind me, or I guess Brandon remind me a little bit of Dutch with how he handled fans and the public and how genuine a guy he was. But like Dutch used to talk about Kruk the hitter all the time. And when he was in the minors, when Dutch was in the minors catching, Kruk would come up and he would like look back at Dutch and he would tell him where he was going to put it. And like he would just slap at the ball and slap it to left field. They would just like hit it off like, yeah, I'll just like knock it over the shortstop and put it in left field. He was such a good hitter. You don't realize the kind of athlete he was because he didn't necessarily have the physique of a guy but like he was a 300 lifetime hitter as a like a hit, not a power hitter, but certainly like a great hitter, John Kruk. Really, really good hitter, underrated player. But anyway, all right. And yes, talking baseball with Dutch was the man. I can't. If I could go back to those days, man, I wish Dutchy was still alive, man. Go back to those days, the 2008 year, having a show every day with Darren Dalton as the Phillies won their first World Series in 28 years, and doing that show with him for almost 5 years was something, man. Really was. Dutch was the best dude. All right, Delco Steve, thank you. How's everything going with the old lady and little Cooper DeJean?
Everything's good. I think I'm gonna try and finish up painting the nursery this weekend. Hopefully we'll be able to get that done. Should be able to. Gonna try and figure it out in between college basketball games.
Oh, all right. So everybody, I'll be at Parks Casino on Saturday from 1 to 3 doing my PHLY show.
Oh, nice.
So if there's anybody that's coming out, it's a great place to actually watch the tournament games. I went up there last year, and they have a great sports book. So if you're looking for somewhere to watch the games, 1 to 3.
There you go.
I'll have a cast. I think Black Gritty's going to stop by. Maniac Malloy. Yeah. So if you want to come check me out on Saturday, come do it. 1 to 3 p.m. Parks Casino. Delco Steve, see you, buddy.
Peace.
All right, buddy. See ya.